Our first word is the word loan. Loan. This is not the loan like I'm going to loan you a pencil, okay? This loan means that you are all alone, or there's just one. If I were to say it is the lone pen, that means there's only one and there aren't any more. There's just one, the lone pen. I've got two pictures here that you can use for reference, and you can choose which one you would like to draw about. This is a picture of a man. His name is the Lone Ranger, and his best friend is the Indian Tonto. There were very many television shows created about him back in the days when TV was just in black and white. But they've kind of remade some of his shows, which is why you kind of see this picture in color just a little bit. I don't know if it comes across in the video. But this is the Lone Ranger, and if you can tell, he used to wear a mask. I don't know if you can see the mask that he has just covering his eyes, because he liked to keep himself very mysterious. He didn't want anybody to really know who he was. So he always wore a mask, and he always wore a white hat, and he rode a horse that he named Silver. And so he would always say, "Hi-ho, Silver." And he would charge off on his horse, and he was a good guy. Hence the white hat. He would always go and rescue people who were in danger, or he would capture the bad guys. And his best friend, Tonto, would often help him out. Okay, so this is the Lone Ranger. There was only one of him, okay? All right, this is a lone wolf. You can see him howling at the big moon there. He's by himself. A lone wolf has been kicked out of his pack. He does not have a pack that he roams with. He has to hunt and do everything by himself, because he has basically been the bad guy in a pack and he got kicked out. So he is the lone wolf, all right? So there's only one of him. He has to do everything by himself. All right, so there's your word lone. You're going to draw a picture of it and put it in a sentence, okay? Your next word is bore. Okay, bore. To bore means to drill a hole, okay? To bore a hole. So this is an old-fashioned drill that they used to use before they had electric power drills, okay? So you can see the drill bit on the end, and he would have to turn the crank just like this, and it would turn the drill bit, and it would drill a hole. Nowadays, we just use an electric drill. But he is boring a hole. To bore means to drill a hole. So what is he doing? You can either say he's drilling a hole, or you can say he is boring a hole. Now, speaking of boring a hole, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next word. So if you need to draw your picture and write your sentence, pause the video. I'm going to give you the next word, which is an animal that does a lot of boring. He bores holes. That's what he does. This is a mole. A mole is a little teeny tiny animal that lives under the ground, and he bores holes all over the place. Now, we don't generally deal with moles here in Texas because our ground is too hard. But up north in the United States, moles cause all sorts of problems because they will dig up your yard faster than, well, here we have armadillos that mess with our yard a lot. But up north, they have moles, okay? And moles will dig a hole in the ground, and they will dig up your front yard. They'll dig up your garden because they're blind. You see, you can't see his eyes. I'm not even really sure if they even have eyes, to be honest. But you'll see these long claws that they have on the ends of their feet because they use those claws to dig holes, and they eat bugs under the ground. And they also probably eat grass roots and plant roots and things like that. So a mole uses this long pointy nose to find his way and to smell out where the bugs are, and he uses those claws to dig his way there. But you can see how tiny the moles are. See, this is someone's hand, and you can see the mole would fit in the palm of his hand. It wouldn't be very big at all, okay? So they're very tiny animals, and they bore holes in your yard. Okay, so there's a mole. All right. Draw a picture, write a sentence. Pause the video if you need to. I'm going to move on. Okay, our next word is dome. Dome. Okay. The word dome is a curved roof. Now, we don't have a whole lot of domes here in Abilene. As a matter of fact, I'm not even really sure of any. I'm sure there is, but I don't know where. Here is one on a Capitol building. It is a curved roof. It's rounded roof. Okay, so this is a dome right here. You might be more familiar with one of these types of domes. This is where a pro ball team would play. Sometimes there's baseball stadiums like this. Sometimes it's football stadiums. But you'll notice the curved dome for the roof. Okay, so a dome is a curved roof. Yes? On government buildings and on stadiums. Okay, draw a picture of a dome. Use the word dome in a sentence. Remember, when you write your sentence, I don't want you to tell me what a dome is. I want you to use it in a sentence. So don't say a dome is a curved roof. That's telling me what a dome is. You need to use it in a sentence. Like you need to say, I went to the Cowboy Dome or whatever. I went to watch the Cowboys play in a dome. Use the word in a sentence. All right. Our next word is pose. Pose. You can pose for the camera. You can do a yoga pose. So I'm going to show you. This is a picture of a yoga pose. Okay? This is a picture of a lady posing for a camera. Both of them are the word pose. A yoga pose and posing for a camera. Okay? So you choose how you want to draw it. You're going to draw a picture of the word pose, and you're going to use the word pose in the sentence. Remember, don't tell me what it means. I want you to use it. Okay. Pause the video if you need to. I'm going to move on. Our next word is tone. Tone. Okay? All right. When you go to make a phone call on a house phone, or remember back to the days when you were at school and you wanted to call mom, you would have to get a dial tone first. So it's a sound that you hear, okay? It's a sound. You can have a dial tone. You can have, on your cell phone, you can download all kinds of ringtones, okay? So you can download ringtones, and that would be a sound that your phone makes whenever it rings. And so you can, if you wanted like your favorite song to play, you wanted to hear the tone of your favorite song every time your phone rang, you would download the ringtone that you like. So a tone is a sound. I don't have any pictures of a tone because it's not something you can take a picture of. So why don't you draw me a picture of maybe a phone ringing, and you can draw something coming out of the phone to show the noise that the phone is making, that the phone is playing a certain ringtone. Use the, here is how you would spell ringtone. Okay, and you can download ringtones for your cell phone. Okay, draw a picture, write a sentence. We're moving on. Okay, our next one is mope. Mope. All right, this is what I'm sure you've been doing a lot of here lately. I am sure that you have been moping around the house because you are just bored silly, right? You're ready for this quarantine thing to be over, and you are moping. This dog is moping. Look at how sad he is. No one will play with him, poor baby. Look at how cute he is. He is moping because he's sad. No one is going to play with him. To mope is a face that we make when we're sad. and we want somebody to pay attention to us. We mope, okay? That dog is moping. That's very sad. Okay, draw me a picture of somebody moping. Obviously, you're not going to draw somebody looking like this, right? If they're moping, that's not how they should look. Okay, draw a picture of someone moping and use the word mope in a sentence. I moped around the house. My dog was moping because I wouldn't play with him. Something like that. Okay. Moving on, our last word. Cove. A cove is a very small bay. Remember when we learned what a bay is? A bay is a horseshoe-shaped beach. It's shaped like this, and the water comes in here, and the beach might go on this way, and it might go on this way, but there's a part in the beach that's been washed away, and all of the waves get bigger out here. Okay, there's big waves out here, and the smaller waves are inside the bay. Now, a cove would be surrounded by mountains, okay? So a cove is a bay surrounded by mountains. So here I have some pictures of some coves. You can see where the water has washed away. It's much smaller. Do you see that one person standing there on the inside the cove? A bay is big enough where you could fit like high-rise buildings around the outside, but a cove is much smaller. And they used to say that pirate ships would sail their pirate ship into a cove, and they would lower the sails, and ships that would sail past wouldn't be able to see them because they sailed their entire ship into the cove. And so they were able to hide inside the cove. And they might even get out and bury their treasure on the beach of the cove just to hide it. Okay, so we have a cove. Yes, it is a horseshoe-shaped beach, but it's surrounded by mountains or cliffs. And it's much smaller than a bay. Okay, that's our last word. I'm going to give you the worksheets that come along with this lesson. All right, here is your first worksheet. This is page 43. I want you to read these sentences for practice. Okay, so you're reading the sentences. I want you to put the brace on this I and spell it the way that it should be. It should be M-Y, and this should be B-Y. Okay, so my and by should be spelled normal with the Y. Down here, anytime you see the I that's wobbly, I want you to put the brace on it and change it to M-Y instead of M-I. Okay, so that's page 43. Then you're going to do page 32. Page 32, you're going to take these words and you're going to decide if they are peanut butter and jelly words or layer cake words. Please make sure that you pay attention. If it has curly, fluffy E on the end, that means it is a layer cake word. You can't put it on this one because there's no place to put curly, fluffy frosting on a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So make sure that you put it on a layer cake word. Okay, so this is page 32. And your last one is going to be practicing some of those vocabulary words that we just learned. You're going to read the sentence and choose the best word that goes into the sentence. And most of these words we covered in our vocabulary section, okay? Then I want you to read page 19, okay, for practice. You're going to practice reading these. A good game that you can play with your parents is if you can read one of these sentences correctly all the way from the start to the end without any mistakes, they give you a nickel or a quarter or a penny, whatever they decide. So tell Mom, Miss Finley said to pay me for reading sentences. Just kidding. Okay, so you're gonna read a sentence, and if you get it right, they can give you a penny or a quarter or a nickel, whatever they want to do. Read another sentence, do it all correctly with no mistakes, get another penny or a quarter, whatever they decide. And as many as you can read, you might be rich by the end of the page, right? Awesome. Okay, so that's just a little fun idea for practicing your reading pages, okay? And I'm going to suggest it in the activity as well when I post the video.